wanted to see a permutation of both these rosters of world-class players.
I feel like if you're going to change things up, really mix them up, like putting like 1 or 2 players in, like let's say if you had the Busan lineup and you want to just throw Birdring in there, like then it could kind of get weird, right? Because they're like, well, why just sub in one guy? Like, let's really mix it up if we're going to mix it up.
What I'm glad to see though is changing up the teams before you get up there, but maybe not changing players every map. You know, we've got some teams that make a lot of these substitutions, right? And you know, you play one game and Seagull's, you know, wrapping his keyboard up and just getting the heck off the stage, and you know, another player's sort of coming on here. So perhaps it's just better if you have this sort of this roster that you can change, but maybe in between matches and not maps, give them a chance to really warm up and gel.
Or I think keep the same core and maybe like one or two players come out, right? And I think as we go on, we'll kind of learn, you know, get some more data on what the substitutions do for certain lineups. It'll be
this is rude.
Philadelphia Fusion here on defense.
This is so rude.
You're going to use the defense matrix to give Carpe a free shot on some players coming out of the spawn, but Spitfire coming out from up top.
They've been bamboozled, Matt. There was no way the Spitfire were going to face in the front door. Especially when Carpe was looking to put a package on the doorstep and light it up for them as they opened it up. Birdring takes a heck of a lot of damage early. He's been completely knocked out of position. He can't get back to his team. Oh my lord, how annoying must that be? Being pushed and prodded around the map with no decision in where you go. Carpe finds Bedosin early, and well, Spitfire are now deep in enemy territory with 4 players.
It was the halt from Fraggy that kind of brought him up like a little bit elevated, and then they actually think Poco dives into him with the Diva and knocks him up. Where is London going?
The stagger here is incredible. Look at these kills. They're not all coming at once either. It's like, you know, Gesture goes down, and now Fury's eventually going to drop, but how long is that going to take? How long is that going to be before he gets back to the rest of his team? The Spitfire just walks straight into the Fusion's trap. The Fusion like, hey, welcome to our mansion. Let me give you a tour. They stab the knife in just as they get into the sitting room. And they just pretty much, look, there are players here for the Spitfire still. This has taken so much time off the clock. Already a minute down, and London are yet to actually get onto the first point.
London opted for an interesting strategy, trying to cap point B before point A there. 3 players all the way to the back. All right. They'll get another crack at it.
Carpe in the library with the candlestick, Matt.
So Birdring will switch. He'll go over to Tracer from Roadhog. Prophet will stay on Zarya here, so and gain a lot of charge from the Junkrat play that comes in.
Look how the Fusion give up the point though as well. This is pretty interesting. Now they get to play the role of the attackers when they move into the point. The Spitfire are the ones that are already going to be sort of put into these close quarters. That's just what a Riptide wants as well. Interesting that Nuts was the only one to go down, but Dosen used a nice fade to get away. So they haven't lost all their healing, but they've lost a large component of it. Poco, he's got the button on his ass. He's thinking about it. He wants to go in. No self-destruct yet though, but it would be so devastating on this particular point. It would force the Spitfire into one spot.
You got a D-Mech here on a Prophet, just gonna leave that mini Diva alive. It'll be Fury that actually falls here. Oh, gonna keep letting him walk.
Fury.
It's always hard to see.
Yeah. Poco's sitting there in his mech like, yo, what's up? It's like the guy that looks just like you that has a Maserati. Yeah. You have like a Toyota Prius.
Now Birdring goes back to Roadhog. So he goes from Roadhog to Tracer, then back to the spawn, then goes over to Roadhog again. So just getting some larger HP targets onto the point, because the idea here is, right, you barrel onto the point with the speed boost, you have Coalescence now to keep you alive, maybe you get a grab here.
So much damage.
Yeah,
it's taking so much damage from this Junkrat. Shadowman is just wrecking them as they try and approach.
And now you'll have both support ults, you'll have Supercharger to combine with the damage that already Junkrat puts down.
Oh, Carpe. That would be so rude. He gets a bit of damage in, but again, it's not going to amount to any kills. The Infrasight wears off, and now the Spitfire are on the point. Carpe still looking for a spot to get him, but Gesture goes down early on. No Resurrect, of course, because the Spitfire didn't bring a Mercy. This could go all wrong for them. Graviton surge in, but it doesn't matter. The rest of the Fusion managed to withstand this aggression, and they just turn back. Poco again gets a kill with that self-destruct. What's up, fans? Let's get excited. The Philadelphia Fusion are actually putting up quite the fight here. It just astounds me how a team so newly formed can have such an intricate and interesting strategy on the defense to stymie one of the best teams in global Overwatch.
I think a lot of people are trying to figure out how do you stop this, quad tank lineup when it comes at you and just barrels onto the point. You're seeing Philadelphia do a fantastic job of dealing with it. Not really changing much off of what we normally see, right? We see a lot of Orisa up top, protecting the Widow. So now you'll see the London Spitfire make some changes. They're going to have Prophet move off of Zarya. He'll play Genji here towards the later half of the game. You're going to have a Sound Barrier, going to have Earth Shatter, and a Self-Destruct here for the London Spitfire.
Oh, Self-Destruct coming in. Carpe just around the corner to avoid the Shadowbird, saw it coming, and still he allowed himself to get vaporized. He's going to be brought back hastily by Dayflay. They need the Junkrat here. Bedosin down to Carpe, Riptide Arena. It's Poco getting desuited, but Jester's already fallen. Fraggy stands tall on the point here. All 4 legs flat on the ground, right where they belong. And now an extra shield and is trying to get towards his Orisa. Fury now as well with that Discord orb on him, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be tough, but Prophet's in the backline doing work. He's got some mad damage. Dayfly down. Both supports are missing for the Fusion. This may be turning around. In fact, it is. Somehow the Fusion looked like they had this all under wraps, but in the meantime, Prophet was too busy snatching up the rest of the squishy targets.
Yeah, Nuss get back there on the Lucio, provide the speed to bring some other members back in. Prophet, though, in the back line, just dashing through the supports as Genji. Gesture will move off of Rhine. He'll go over to Winston here, so you're going to get a true dive coming out of the London Spitfire, trying to take point B.
The jump in, Fraggy trying to peel for his team. They're just stuck back in towards the spawn area briefly. But Ocean's got the rule of the roost right now. No one's pressuring him. Fraggy's too low to go for this Zenyatta, and there's no one else on the Fusion that can really contest. Shadowburn being out of the picture makes it very easy for Bedosin now just to sit back. He's going to get chased, though. You can see that Fraggy's looking for both supports. He's at least zoned them out for the time being. It's going to take more than that, though. Transcendence brings Bedosin back on towards the point here, but so the Fusion have their own.
Yeah, but it's going to be Prophet with a Dragon Blade. No support ults online here. He's going to get Dayfly, trying to find more targets. He's located Boombox in the back. Not the spot you want to be in there when he's coming at you with the Dragon Blade. Looks like the London Spitfire making some progress here towards taking point B. Shadowburn still lurking around, though, but it may not be enough. Carpe with a sick kill there, though, on the Prophet.
That was really nice. That Carpe was about 50 HP in getting that one. Does eventually fall here to Gesture. There's going to be a pulse bomb on the Fraggy. Fraggy goes low now. Oh, as soon as he hits the ground, he's vaporized. The rest of the Fusion are filtering in, though. They are actually spawning quite close. Poco's here, so is Shadowburn. Fury might just want to zone out with a self-destruct and chase people down. For the moment, though, he's happy to hold the defense matrix. Up he goes. What goes up, Matt? Oh, must come down. We'll see if we'll actually get anything with it. No, but he forces the Fusion back off towards these little side rooms here. This puts Shadowburn without much defense from his tank line, and Fury continues the work with a new suit.
But it's going to be Dayfly here with a Valkyrie coming up. Shadowburn with a Dragon Blade for the Philadelphia Fusion. They use the Valkyrie, bring Shadowburn back in the fight. Poco with a self-destruct yet again. Shadowburn doesn't have to use the Dragon Blade here, so you'll have that big ultimate here going on forward. It's not easy. The Philadelphia Fusion somehow bring it back.
Oh, okay, Spitfire are mad. Poco got another kill with a self-destruct. Definitely not the ideal situation there. So the Spitfire, Matt, they start off quite well in that fight. They're using the momentum from taking the first point a little bit there. A couple players are actually getting caught out. You see, obviously, the tank players in position for London were in control, but it's tough when your defenders are spawning so close to the point there. The Fusion had a lot of opportunities to break back in.
Yeah, and you can just keep going on the defensive end, like back onto the point really quick when you have a player like Carpe on the Tracer, right? He can just dart out, kill one, kill two, sends the attackers back to the spawn. You have maybe one of the tanks come back into play for Philly, stay alive longer, then you have some of the supports come online, then you have ultimates, right? I mean, Dayfly gets his Valkyrie, Shadowburn gets Dragon Blade, doesn't use it in that fight, but you still have it at your disposal. And then Poco, the self-destruct, connects with one. That stops that push from the London Spitfire.
In this day and age, or at least at this level in Overwatch, quite often, Diva self-destruct is used so that the player can get his suit back. So it's just it's a heal essentially, providing that you can survive until the animation of self-destruct is finished. You can jump back in and go. Poker's almost getting double value out of it as well by setting it up so he can pick up these kills. His team trusts him also to set that up and give them a man advantage. So that's obviously where the Fusion about to make use of that. Tough for Fraggy though. You see the Fraggy getting bursted down before he can sort of hit the ground here. For a Reinhardt, predominantly Reinhardt player, he's demonstrated some excellent Winston stuff for us so far. And the Fusion can sit back now. 2 minutes and 5 seconds. They're going to chase a couple of kills before now having a chance to really get set up here on this last point.
It was really difficult for Fraggy there because we saw from Bedosin's POV for a little bit from the London Spitfire, but he was up on top playing Zenyatta, just able to throw Discords down, just get a lot of free damage, and then Fraggy gets low. There's nobody there to chase him out, Bedosin, from that high ground position. He's forced to do so. What happens? Nuss comes back, heals Bedosin up. They're not able to get that Zenyatta in the back, and you're still just letting the point go to London. So we get back into the action just to kind of set the stage here a little bit. Prophet goes off of Genji. He'll go over to Soldier 76. So it looks like you can get a little bit more high ground control here for the London Spitfire.
Yeah, once he gets that attack visor, if he's unattended and Poco's desuited, it could be lights out for the Fusion at the stage. Poco drops down. Now you can see Prophet. Look what he's doing from up above. He's got so much room. Poco's too low to do anything about it. He's out of defense matrix. This is where it gets a little bit scary. Purging those found Fraggy. Poco gets desuited now. Gesture on the boombox, and that should be it. That's a clean fight for the Spitfire. There's really not much that can be done there. We don't even need to see the last moments. But that is going to be it. 1 minute and 5 left on the clock here for the Spitfire. They look fallible though, Matt. These guys do bleed.
It was just like what you were talking about, though. As soon as Prophet got up on top, he was able to rain down a ton of damage, because you looked at the fight before, when Badosin was up there, nobody was challenging him. So you could have just had the comms for the London Spitfire, like, hey, you know, they're just giving us the high ground. They're not really contesting that. Let's get to 76. You put the 76 up top with Zenyatta. You're able to just rain down a ton of damage on the discorded targets. You get the DMEC, then you use the TAC visor, and everything falls apart.
I feel like sometimes, you know, defending teams in that situation are forced into a lose-lose, right? So let's say Spitfire's tanks do a very good job of getting onto the back line of Philadelphia, which they generally do. They also have a Zenyatta or a 76 up on the high ground. If you're the Philadelphia Fusion's tanks, where do you go? Do you try and shut down enemy backline, or do you peel? I think this is like the perennial problem confronting every tank player.
Yeah, do you turn your back to a 76 and to Zenyatta, who has a Discord on you and just mowing you down? Because then if you go to the back, if you go to peel for your own backline and you don't keep them alive, you are dead as well, and that's pretty much a full team kill.
There's no damage to follow you up.
If you go to the other side, at best you get maybe once you trade supports, right? At that point, like, and then just kind of brawl it out, whichever DPS and tanks have just more HP at that moment. I think that's probably what teams are kind of considering.
And I feel like the attacking team is almost playing with house money at that point. You know, they're the ones that get set up in what comforts them, and it's got to be the defenders to respond. But that's kind of how the game works.
And from the offensive side, if you have a Mercy, right, you can just back up more than the defensive team. The defensive team's going to, what, back up into their spawn. You can back up a little bit if you're the London Spitfire there on offense, because what happens, you heal your Zenyatta, the Zenyatta dies, the 76 takes out a tank, you res the Zenyatta back up, and you're back at full strength.
Let's see if it plays out that way. Now, the Fusion on the attack, they showed us something a little bit different on defense. Some real, I guess, confident play from Carpe with his positioning on Widow. Now he's going to be on that Tracer, so this is pretty cut and dry. Although, again, Angels and Airwaves is back again. It's going to be Lucio and Mercy. So perhaps the Fusion want to use a speed boost just to get in position, because there's a little bit of a, I guess, an uncomfortable period for attackers as they're moving through the middle of the map. Carpe gets picked off there by Prophet early, likely a trap or something similar, so they'll have to wait for him. But around this corner, yeah, there's that interval, right, Matt, of like, you know, 3 to 5 seconds where the attackers can be quite vulnerable as they try and get across towards the left again.
What we usually saw teams do in the preseason is they had the Orisa set up top with her. Well, this is just like a very stalled out push here from the Fusion. I think that would be the right term to use here. Is Carpe is running out. Look at Shadowburn's like picture at the bottom. He's like just like leaning back, chilling. He's like, I ain't got to do anything yet. Okay, now we start to see some of the members from the Philly Fusion move forward outside of Carpe. Gesture that will take out Fraggy. Again, a pretty poor start from Philly.
There's nothing you can do about this. We did see the Philadelphia Fusion get a bit impatient. I think we did see Fraggy jump across onto the high ground. So I'm not really sure what the idea was with that. Look at Poker, look how low he is now. He needs to get healed up. At least that's ultimate percentage for your supports.
And there's so much damage from the London Spitfire if the Philadelphia Fusion try and dive up on top, leading with Fraggy, right? Because you dive in on the Winston, no Gesture with the Orisa can put down a ton of damage. You already have a Junkrat, you have a Roadhog, so there's a lot of burst potential able to take out this Winston of the Philly Fusion. You see they lead up there with Poco, he instantly gets defanged.
Pack it up, boys. Carpe now looking to make a change here, and I think the rest of the Fusion are either going to get staggered or forced to run away. Dayfly is probably going to drop here. This is not a position he wants to be in, but Ocean trying to chase him up. Okay, so we need to see a complete change here from the Fusion. Shadowburn Dayfly down. Yep, that's almost a foregone conclusion. The Fusion have lost at least a minute of just sitting around waiting for people to be unstaggered. So they haven't managed to get everyone in position to even start to make a play of this.
Yeah, we take a look at the replay, and exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, he gets hooked. The halt plus the hook, he gets dragged on in, and then what do you get dragged on into? You know, the Junkrat, the Widowmaker, just a ton of damage.
Carpe can't do anything against double shield like that. Just nothing. Oh, sorry, just the single Orisa shield.
And now he switches off of Widow, goes over to Tracer, and they're able to just land the hook, the halt, and then just a lot of damage coming down from London already. You know, Philadelphia with only 1:30 left on the clock. Prophet sitting up top, playing all sneaky with the tire.
This is, I mean, you can just use ultimates like this. Are they going to be ready for an ult from it? Oh, Dayfly! You know what they say about Dayflies, Matt? They're only alive for 1 day. I think Dayfly's been alive for about 20 seconds on this map so far. That's been pretty nasty. And that's all it takes. Get rid of the Mercy. It's now the Spitfire can just, you know, slowly ration out these ultimates to last them 1 minute, and the Fusion are done. This is probably the most comprehensive and well thought out destruction of an attacking team I've seen on this map.
And you've held on to both support ults for the London Spitfire. You're going to have Supercharge or Whole Hog here. So, I mean, what? You got Shadowburn with the Dragon Blade, Poco with a self-destruct. You're not going to have
bored.
So Philly can opt to not challenge the high ground here, maybe go play for the point. Like, I feel like just keep going up to the high ground over and over again. You haven't really been able to get anything done.
Let's see if this works, though. Carpe goes down early, gets picked up by Birdring in the mix, and Dosen just kind of wanted to press a button. I think he just was, keen to make something happen in this fight. Supercharger is down. Self-destruct that managed to fell it. Birdring finds a kill at the end of the fight there, Poco. Okay, if we don't get to kill at the start and end of a fight, you know that the defensive team is pretty comfortable. Fury tries for some right clicks there, boom. Not today, my friend. Fury has a chance to take a breather. He'll be okay. Hoping maybe just to stay low health for long enough to bait Carpe in for the illusion of a finish or something like that. Not much time left. 10 seconds. Philadelphia Fusion are being very, very frustrated. The door's just been slammed straight in their face. Do they go for something different? Fraggy's already half health. This may be over as it is. Birdwing looks for Shadowbird. Why not find him here? Now they're on the point at least. So the Fusion going to force the Spitfire off this high ground and try and do something about it. Soundbarrier, Shadowburn gets caught up. Most of his health is already gone. So is he. He's down. Now the Riptide going to come in from top, and he's found a support. It's all just too simple for the Spitfire. Gesture on the point. He'll have a shield in just a moment. Going to use the Hulk. Just going to be pulling in these players. It was Carpe still able to get away. He has a pulse bomb. The mat's going to be him on his own. He's down. That is not a good look for the Fusion at all.
That was dominant from the London Spitfire there on point A defense. It seemed like from the Philadelphia Fusion towards the end, they were really playing around, use the sound barrier, keep Shadowburn alive with the Dragon Blade, force out the Valkyrie from the side of the Spitfire. Then after Valkyrie wears off,